My name is Aura Marina Lazarde. I'm the Head of Cultural Engagement from the British Council in Venezuela. And we invite you to join us today in this session in which we have as a special guest to our good friend Wendy Arnold from ELT Consultants from the UK. Wendy will be sharing information with all of you about how to develop lessons plans, especially for English teachers, and the materials that are especially linked with the My Victory series. So Wendy, welcome, and I hope that you can all enjoy the session. You can, by the way, you can share information, you can ask questions and make comments through the chat. You can write, and we will have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. So please share your questions that we will be answered at the end. Wendy will be answering there. Bye-bye.
Hello, everyone. Lovely to see everybody. That's great. Right, let me just organize myself a bit. Did I miss anybody? Oh, Lara State. Yep. And where else? Barcelona. I missed Barcelona as well. Who else? Nueva Esparta. Wow. Brilliant. Brilliant. Fantastic. Anybody else? Barinas, of course. Of course, Barinas. Anyone else? Maracaibo. Yaracuy. I think I already did that one. And La Guaira. Okay. Is there anybody who is not from Venezuela? Do we have anybody that is not from Venezuela? Or are you all from Venezuela? Okay. All right. I am going, oh, Maturin. Yes, look, the one I didn't, only Venezuela. Oh, Margarita Island. Oh, that's gorgeous. That's very nice. I've been to many of your states. Bolivar, fantastic. Wonderful. Amazonas, yes, Natalie. I have got to come to Amazonas. I definitely have. Fantastic. So I think I've been to most of your states. All right, I'm going to make a start now and share my screen. Let me get a tidy screen. I have not got a very tidy screen. So let me just get a tidy one. Let's just put this back a bit. Let's have a look. There we are. There we are. There we are. There we are. Let me just put this on read. Okay. Tidy myself up a bit here. Okay, there we are. I hope you can see my screen now. Can you tell me in the chat if you can see my screen? Brilliant. Thank you, Yasmin. Fantastic. Fantastic. So those of you who are just coming in, haven't started yet, but we're recording this so you can catch up. So today I'm going to tell you about a project I have been working with about 50 of your trainers facilitadores y tutores, and also docentes, who have been working with me to write some materials based on your Victory course books. All right, so I have split this into 4 different sections, okay? And that is because there is so much to talk about, and I wanted to make sure that, let me just make sure that this is in the right side. I wanted to make sure that I covered everything in a sensible, clean way. All right. So the first part was the concept, el concepto. ¿Por qué vamos a hacer eso? And so let's have a think about it. So you have My Victory. It's a 5-level course book. It's for secondary. It starts at beginner level 1. Now there is a little bit of a problem because it's not widely distributed. Okay? Y esto es un poquito de un problema, porque la mayoría de los estudiantes no tienen acceso a una copia en físico. Okay? So, what are we going to do about it? There's always a solution. And let's find out what we did. So let's have a think about these concept questions. So there is a course book, but the students probably don't have one. And so other than the course book, what else is needed? And I want you to write your ideas in the chat box. Okay? Por favor, escribe tus ideas en el chat. Porque necesitamos pensar qué se necesita además del libro del curso. Okay? Because you can't just teach with one course book that the teacher has. So start to think about what you need to be able to teach. Let's have a look. Christopher says, a guide. Other private schools don't have it, okay? So tell me, if you work in a private school and you have a course book, what else do you need in order to be able to teach, to use that course book? A good resource. Milagros, what would you call a good resource? Ah, Helen, posters, pictures. Oh, a lesson plan. Okay, worksheets, flashcards. Ismari wants electric tools and internet connection. Don't we all? Music, yes. Letter cards, yes. Didactic resources, technology, dictionaries, yes. So a course book is only one resource, okay? And you cannot use that course book if there's only one copy. You have to think about what other materials you need in order to make that course book accessible. So what does the teacher need to do if they're the only ones with a course book? Well, you've given me lots of ideas. Anything else? Videos, games. Well, I'm going to write some of these. So I've done this like this. This is where I'm just going to stop sharing for a second. So that, whoops, hang on a tick, because what I want to do is I want to write some of these ideas in here. So let's see what else have you got for me here. I need to make this a bit bigger, and I'm going to write some of your ideas. So you had lesson plan, you had posters, you had flashcards, you had word cards, you had videos, you had music. What else are you writing down there? Let's have a look. Oh, yes. Greasy recycling materials. Somebody's been to my training. Recycling materials to make resources. Yep. Anything else? Flashcards. Use the blackboard as well. Realia. Yep. Realia. Anything else? What have I missed? Homemade materials. Students can make. So recycling materials to make resources by teacher or students. Anything else? Let's have a look. Plan B with strategies. Games. Games are really important, aren't they? All right. Let's see anything else. Games, technology. Yeah, technology if you can. You know, not everybody has got access to technology. Right, I'm just going to save that, and I'm going to come back and share my screen again. Oh, hang on a tick. I need to put this on read again and come back here and have a little chat to myself. There we are. Can you see my PowerPoint? Just let me know. Can you see my PowerPoint? Somebody tell me if you can see my PowerPoint. ¿Puedes ver mi pantalla? Que no. Que sí. Ana. Castalín. Sí. Perfecto. Okay. So here are some of your ideas. Yes, Ismari. Role play. You know, teachers are incredibly creative. And it's probably one of the most creative of all the professions. All right. And I think it's really important that we remember that a course book is only one resource. You need a lot more than just that course book. All right. A ver, ¿qué es lo que estás diciendo? Se oye en el fondo el webinar de las personas con... Ajá. Okay. So Natalie, people with a disability, what can we do to help the people with a disability? Because I think that's something that we have to always keep in mind as well, that there are learners, students in our classrooms that have different ways of learning, and they have different physical and mental abilities. Welcome to everybody coming in. Welcome, welcome. Recording audios is a good strategy. Yes, Alexandra, yes. I think recording is really important. Quizás le dice play el video. Okay, so Natalie has a problem. Okay, all right. Okay. Right, so here are some of your ideas. Now, I'm only going to show you a model with my Victory 1. We worked on all 5 my victories. And what's fantastic about my Victory is that it is it is following a pattern. My Victory 1 and 2 follow exactly the same patterns, and my Victory 3, 4, and 5 follow the same pattern. So I'm going to show you a pattern with my Victory 1, which is the same as, actually, I just got that slightly wrong. It's my Victory 1, 2, and 3 that follow the same pattern, and 4 and 5. So you have an index, and you have content, and you have the language that is taught in that particular level. So let's have a look. And each of those course books have 8 units. And 24 lessons. And this is from my Victory 1 to 5. They have 8 pages of content for a lesson. So straight away, this is a little bit of an issue, because in one lesson, which is 40 minutes, you cannot really teach 8 pages of content, can you? So for this project, we decided that we would divide one of the My Victory lessons into 4 40 minutes. Oh, we've still got people coming in. Fantastic. Hello from Táchira, San Cristobal. Good. Wonderful. Carupano. Wonderful. Welcome. Ismari is saying the Victory collection is in digital as well. Yes, which is great, and that would make life a lot easier if the teacher had technology in the classroom, and I know some people do, but the majority don't. Okay? So somebody's saying they don't hear anything. Could somebody please suggest to go out and come back in again? El 321-25, no sé tu nombre, pero lo que tienes que hacer es salir y venir otra vez. ¿Ok? Si no escuchas nada, necesitas salir y después venir. Okay, so does anybody else want to say anything about how they use My Victory? Because this is one of the first questions I asked the writers. I said, how many 40-minute lessons do you use the 8 pages for? Oh, I'm still getting lots of ideas. There's Milton. Yes, lots of names I'm starting to recognize. Okay. So you have 8 pages for one My Victory lesson. How many pages can you use in one 40-minute lesson? Welcome, Dorcas from Monagas. Right, so for this project, okay, Alejandra, thank you. Isabel says 2 lessons, 2 40-minute lessons. Christopher says 3 40-minute lessons. Natalie says 2. Okay, for this project, we decided that we would divide, and Dayanara says 2 weeks to complete a lesson. Of course, it depends how many lessons you've got in a week. So we decided we would split the 8 pages of content into 4 40-minute lessons. Okay? Now, that gives you 96 lessons for the whole of the year. All right? Now, that's very necessary, and I'll show you why. Because here is the yearly academic calendar, and for English, grades 1 and 2 have 3 lessons a week of 40 minutes, and grades 3, 4, and 5 have 4 lessons a week of English. So now, grade 1 and 2 have 3 minutes. There are 33 academic weeks, so that gives you 99 40-minute lessons of English. Is that correct? Does that sound right? A ver, si eso parece real, que para grados 1 y 2 hay 3 clases de 40 minutos cada semana, y en todo el año hay 33 semanas, entonces necesitas 99 clases. Okay, all right, that's good. So grades 3 to 5, they have 4. So for them, you need 132 for the same amount of time. You need 132 14-minute periods of English. So My Victory 1 to 5, if you divide it into 4, one My Victory lesson into 4. Okay, Jenny. So she divides My Victory and with technology. Aha, okay, Jasper. And Sandra has 4 hours for all from 1st and 5th. Okay, all right. So if we divide one My Victory lesson into 4, that gives us 96. So we're okay for grades 1 and 2, but we're not okay for grades 3, 4, and 5. So my summary. Levels 1 and 2, they have 3 lesiones de 40 minutos por semana y 33 semanas académicas. Entonces, necesitas 99. ¿Ok? 99. Y para niveles 3 a 5, necesitas 132. All right. Entonces, lo que estamos mirando es que para mi Victory 1 y 2 solo faltan 3 lesiones, pero mi Victory 3 hasta 5 faltan 36. All right, so my recommendation is that for My Victory 3 to 5, and this has not been done for this project, by the way, I'm just telling you because I got this information after we'd already started, that really one of My Victory lessons should be divided into 5 40-minute lessons, okay? And then you'd get 120. But what the teachers need are lesson plans, which you've already said, and they also need teaching resources. So that is the concept. That's where we were starting from. Okay, so now let's go to part 2. And Milton. Well, that's very good, isn't it, Milton? You only teach 2. I don't think you can get through more than 2 pages, to be honest. So let's look at the process now. So for this project that I've been working with quite a few of you here, Milton is one of them. Who else is working with me in this project? Put your hands up. So we set the program for each level. And so we had 4 days of working. Yes, Anna. Day 1, I worked with everybody, and day 2. And we had very long days. It's Belkis and Ruth and Eduardo and Natalie. Yep, and Alexandra. Yep, brilliant. We had very long days. We had 4 90-minute sessions each day in order to understand how to write lesson plans and make resources. And another 2 days, everybody worked on their own. So the lessons and the units were identified. Y después, un líder de equipo tenía que compartir las lecciones con parejas de escritores, okay? So we had more or less, so how many groups is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 groups for each level, and they were working in pairs. The first day was a training with me, and I wanted to find out more about the contextual background of each of the levels. And these are the kind of things that I found out. So, in my group, 78 de los miembros del grupo de My Victory han usado el libro My Victory. Y 33% de esos miembros divide el contenido de la clase del libro en 2 clases de 40 minutos. Entonces, eso es mucho, 4 páginas. 45 of the members read the audios, dialogues aloud. 22% asked the students to read. 22% did something else. 45% got the students to help make posters. 22% got the students to make picture cards and word cards. 44% copied text on the board if there's no hard copy. 56% made a lesson plan and teaching resources. 56% used continuous assessment by evaluating throughout the unit. All right, so assumptions about the students' background knowledge. So 13% of students have used My Victory coursebook or similar. Okay. 62%, and we're only talking about My Victory 1, okay? 62% know the name of the letters and the sounds. Es porque en inglés hay un nombre de las letras, pero también sonidos. Esto, mira, 0% de los estudiantes pueden leer en voz alta en inglés. Esto es en My Victory 1, ¿ok? Pero 25% saben los números en inglés. Eso es una cosa, esto está bien. Pero también era muy importante preguntar a los escritores opiniones acerca de lo que piensan son los retos para los docentes, ¿okay? Porque ellos son los expertos. Also, la mayoría de los escritores han participado en los módulos de formación docente. Y bueno, ahora ya se empieza el módulo 7, ¿ok? But you have anybody that's done the PNF program already knows more about teaching teenagers, managing lessons, managing resources, inclusive practices, lesson planning. Okay, and now you're learning about integrating ICT, and in the new year, promoting 21st century skills. All right, so why am I talking about that when we are talking about my victory? Well, the reason is that teachers need to get to this part. So doing the PNF is understanding the professional practice, but we need to get teachers to engage with all of those different ideas in the CPD framework. And the way to do that is to use the course book effectively. So day 2 was writing the lesson plans, okay, designing teaching resources and peer feedback. So we organized the groups of 10 writers into 5 groups, and they wrote in pairs. And I shared a template and also a completed model. Now, as I go through the next part, I want you to, in the chat, write the letter and the teaching resource you need to teach that activity, ¿ok? Entonces, lo que quiero es que, por favor, agrega la carta y los recursos didácticos que necesitarás para enseñar esta actividad en el chat. So let's have a look. Here we have, oh, that shouldn't have come out there. But anyway, let's have a look. We have got A, let's explore. Entonces, aquí en el chat, si puedes escribir A y cómo vas a enseñar a una clase grande de alumnos, ¿cómo vas a enseñar el A? So for example, A, what does it need? I'm going to write the first one. What does it need? The students, los estudiantes no tienen este libro. Para el A, ¿cómo podemos enseñar a los estudiantes este contexto? Okay, Alexander says a poster. What else can you use? I'm just talking about A. Only A to start with. A poster, anything else? Christopher says vocabulary. Okay, vocabulary in isolation. It's a dialogue, yes. So, but how are you, what are you going to make so that the students see this, understand this? Flashcards, okay, maybe, yeah. Copies for small groups, audio, yeah, okay. All right, okay, all right. Because this is the thing, the students do not have this book. So how do you make sure that they understand what's in the book? Right, the next one. What about B? What would you put for B? What do you need for B? What resources do you need? Okay, Narvis would write on the whiteboard. But Narvis, the minute you turn your back on the class, what happens with the students? William, what happens? And Dayanara, you also write the dialogue. Where do you write the dialogue? Okay, you're all saying audios. I agree with you about the audios. But what about the dialogue? How are the students going to be able to know what the words are? Dramatized reading by the teacher. Okay, all right. All right, let's just go to the next one. So, C, what are we going to do with C? What resources do you need for C? Yep, audio again. Let's listen, read, and say. So you definitely need audio. Yeah, Alexandra, you're very lucky. In your school, you can have you have a projector, so that's good. But if you don't have a projector, clever, Eduardo. That's a good idea. So one of the students had a mobile phone, so they could take a picture and then they can practice. Yep. Okay. But I want to know what you do if you don't have enough books for the whole class. Poster. Okay. Right, let's go down to D. What would you do for D? Yes, Alexandra. Yep, that's a gap fill. A gap fill. Okay, Dorcas, but didactic games, you're going to have to explain that. All right. Right, so let's go to the next one. So the next one we've got E, let's read and learn. So a lot of writing on the board, I could see. I would not give any of my writers, I did not allow them to write on the board. The problem when you write on the board, what do the students do? Dayanara, so the students can take phones in. Yes, Belkis, they get distracted and bored and naughty. So it's really important for the teacher to be prepared before they go to the classroom with a lesson plan and teaching resources. Because if they turn their back to the students, they will get bored. So let's read and learn. What do you need for E? Let's read and learn. What are they doing there? Do you need to write anything? Because this is a role play. It's greetings. Okay, and let's have a look at the next one. Then F, what do you do for F? Yep. Pictures with word cards. Yep. Games. I totally agree. But you need to have materials for games. Audios. Yes. F. Let's listen, read, and say. So, definitely audio. The students need to hear. They need to hear the language. Okay. And let's read and learn. Okay, so this is G. So what do students need on this one for G? They need to have a very good audio so they know what the letters sound like. And what else do they need? Yes, it could be a poster or it could be letter cards. Okay, so we now go to reading and reflecting. H. What do the students need? Yes, it is working in pairs, working in a group. So for H, yep, I think they need a poster. Just as an example, they need an example. And then J, what would you do for J? This is a gap fill. Oh no, this is identifying the sounds that they hear. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a really good idea. I would do that as well. Okay, so you need an audio for this one. All right, and then we get to building blocks. What can you do with building blocks, Jay? Yep, poster. Now, the great thing about this is you only have to do that poster once, because then you are ready for the next year or the next class. All right? So it is not a waste of time to make teaching resources, and you'll probably find you can use them for recycling. Now, the building blocks is the grammar. So I would say, yes, definitely posters a good idea. All right, the next one. We're nearly at the end of this. So K, now let's practice. Another gap fill. Yep, posters definitely. Posters with gaps. Word cards. Then L. Let's reflect and create. Now this is personal now. So the students should be able to do a bit of a role play now. I would do a role play with this one now. And then we get to let's sing. Let's sing. Now, one of the problems with the ABC song is it says the name of the letter, not the sound. Right, who can tell me? I'm going to write in here, look in the chat. What's the name of that letter? Give me a word. Give me a word with that letter. I'm going to put the letter in again. Give me a word with that sound at the beginning of the word. Frog. Great. So the name is F. So I'm going to write that there, F. But the sound is, okay. Very important distinction. Que hay una diferencia entre el nombre de la letra y el sonido. El nombre de la letra no ayuda ni pío para cómo decir la palabra. No es como español. Qué lástima. Entonces, lo que los estudiantes necesitan saber es que el nombre de la letra es una cosa y ayuda con diccionario, pero eso no ayuda ni pío, ni nada en ayudarte a decir una palabra nueva. Sí, porque es el nombre, pero eso no ayuda si quieres decir fabulous, porque no es fabulous, es fab, ¿ok? O frog, ¿ok? Es muy importante saber eso. Right. The other thing that I gave everybody was a template. Here's the template to write in. They had to write the grade. They had to write the unit. What was the lesson? And here are the 4 parts. Remember, we divided My Victory lesson into 4 parts, 40 minutes. Page numbers, poster, for which letra vas a poner el poster. ¿Qué letra vas a poner audios? Y aquí, mira, parte 1 es letras A hasta D. Parte 2, letras E hasta G. ¿Ok? Esto es muy importante porque así el docente sabe que para cada actividad que tiene una letra, ¿qué es lo que necesitan hacer? The teaching resources, okay? So let's have a look. Now, here is the template, and some of it is already written in, and so the writers just had to develop the template. They had to develop the template from the steps and what were the students going to say. Now, if you notice this, the template, los pasos están escritos en español, pero lo que el docente dice y los estudiantes van a decir, todo eso es en inglés. Es muy importante. Okay, so here we had part 1 above. Each lesson has a start, inicio, después presentación y después consolidación. Okay, cada lección tiene esas 3 partes. Okay, so each of the writers, escritores, had a style guide. So they knew the lesson plan, they knew what resources they had to make, and which were word cards, flashcards, postcards, and an audio. There are 13 activities in My Victory lesson. There are 13 different activities, and each of them needs different teaching resources. And that's what we worked on. So you just told me as we went through what recursos didácticos se necesitan para cada uno de estas actividades. Okay, each one needs a different teaching resource. So I shared some models that I had worked with in other countries, and anybody who has worked with me before ya sabe que Wendy dice nada es basura, que se usa el cartón, que se usa plástico, sacos de plástico. Es muy importante tener estos recursos, muy importante. Y se puede usarlos muchas veces. Y a mí me encanta usar de todo lo que puedes reciclar. Estos son los, what do you say, the bottle tops de botellas de agua. Son las tapas, ¿ok? Y aquí hay unos word cards, flashcards. Son muy simples. Y aquí es el modelo, y Alejandra, muchas gracias para esto. Y aquí está relleno, ya lleno un modelo para que todos los escritores podían ver cómo usar el template. Y aquí está. Ese es el modelo. Y aquí están los word cards, phrases, sentences. Yeah, let's have a look at this. See if I can play this.
This is my house. My parents are building a new extension to our house.
Really, why?
My mother is expecting a new baby.
Is a your father Billy's and your room for you?
Yes, he is. Well, he and my cousin are building the new room.
Diverse night?
Bless me, Dad. This is my friend Gabriela.
Bless you, honey. Nice to meet you, Gabriela.
Okay, so there's one, and here's another one.
How do you see? What are you doing, darling? Are you doing your homework?
No, Mom. I'm drawing a house plan.
Really?
Yes, I'm thinking of my dream house.
Okay, so really important. Now, maybe you don't need them, but some teachers do need them. Okay, Eduardo, that's fantastic. So you get the students to help you. I think it's really important.
This is my house. How do you see? My parents are...
So very important to have clear instructions on how to record audios, and we had some really good technical people who were writers who helped us. Now, when a pair wrote their lesson plan, they got some feedback from another pareja de escritores. Then we collected in the materials from the writers. We collated them on a spreadsheet, identified what's missing. The writers have a Google Drive folder to upload everything. So that was the process. Now, the challenges. Some writers disappeared. Or they didn't coordinate with their pair. Now, for all kinds of reasons. Connectivity, electrical cuts, some perhaps lack of experience in writing lesson plans, that's a double. Lack of experience in designing teaching resources. Okay? So the outcome, well, we're still working on that, aren't we? So everything in red, I haven't collected yet, but it is possible because we were very ambitious, and we wrote that we wanted lots of resources. Well, lots of resources takes lots of time. So a lesson plan has a lot of these. You know, it gives you those pasos, it gives you the language, but we did ask for a lot of resources. So I think we were too ambitious. So plan B is we've asked all the writers for one sample of a lesson of My Victory divided into the 40 minutes with all the teaching resources, just one for each of their, that they've all been given 4 or 5 My Victory lessons. They have to give one complete lesson plan and teaching resources, and all the other 4 can just be the lesson plan. Because I think if teachers see what the resources look like, they will get it. Yeah? All right. So that's what our project has been about. I'm going to stop here. And find myself. There I am. Does anybody have any questions? Just write them in the chat. Does anybody have any questions? Natalie, that's because you're one of my writers. Okay, so what we want to be able to give you is from My Victory 1 up to My Victory 5, a lesson plan for each of the lessons that are in My Victory. Well, we're dividing them into 4 so that teachers will have something that they can go into the classroom. If they only have one course book, they can go into the classroom with teaching resources and a lesson plan, and they know how to use the materials. So do you think that would be a useful